100 years of academic excellence and visionary leadership. Over the past century, Andhra University has been led by 19 distinguished Vice-Chancellors and has proudly nurtured over 50 eminent faculty members who have gone to serve as Vice-Chancellors at various universities across the country. Today's program, thoughtfully structured, to begin with an engaging panel discussion on the theme AU at 100 from Legacy to Global Impact. The discussions will be held in 2 panel sessions. Panel 1, Universities in Global Knowledge Ecosystem, Innovation, Research and Industry Collaboration, followed by Panel 2, State Public Universities, Key Challenges and Way Forward. This will be followed by the felicitation function in a phased manner, where we will proudly honor these distinguished leaders for their invaluable contributions to higher education and institutional development. With your kind permission, we shall now commence the program with prayer.
Saraswati Namostute Sarade Vidya Prade Saraswati Namostute Sarade Vidya Prade Saraswati Namostute Sarade Vidya Prade Saraswati Namostute करधृत वीणा पुस्तके करधृत वीणा पुस्तके करधृत वीणा पुस्तके वरमणिमालालं कृते हे सरस्वती नमोस्तुते शारदे विद्या प्रदे सरस्वती नमोस्तुते
I now invite our Honorable Vice-Chancellor, Professor G.P. Felicitation, to deliver his opening remarks. Sir.
Very good morning everyone who have assembled here. Today is very auspicious day in the history of Andhra University because celebrating 100 years is definitely truly exceptional for any organization, but adding to that, an institution that produced 50 Vice-Chancellors to various institutions, that is an amazing feat. I don't think any other institution in the country would be getting such an honor. So, we have started our journey on 26th of April 2025, where we had curtain raiser in this very hall. We have pledged to continue the legacy and take it forward in terms of 3 verticals, that is academic excellence, infrastructure development and global outreach. So since then, we have been organizing various events. When we realized this institution had stood as it stands today by virtue of eminence from across disciplines in terms of great leadership. So then immediately we realized we should also recognize such eminence. So then typical gesture is to invite and then felicitate. But then I thought, instead of doing that, they have anyway served and given their best to the institution. Even at this stage, when we are felicitating also, let us extract from them. So that was a thought, and immediately we coined a panel discussion so that their journey, their experiences, to take it forward at this juncture where we stand 100 years and way forward. So their thoughts we can hear. So that's the idea. So with this, when we have proposed, I take this opportunity to thank each one of you who have assembled here, taking trouble from all the way, traveling and sitting here. So very good morning to each one of you, eminent leaders produced by Andhra University. So big round of applause to all our leaders. So I don't want to take much time because today is your day. So we want to listen from you and your advisors, and the title is From Legacy to Global Impact, because today, you know very well, the competition is heavy. So in particular, public funded universities are having a lot of challenges, where the private sector is marching forward with larger leaps. So where do we stand? How do we make excellence and stand on the global platform? So these are the thoughts with which this program has been coined. So thank you once again with individual names to each one of you. Thank you very much for joining this occasion, and we are looking forward to hear from you all and make it more fruitful. And today is just the beginning. So we have coming forward the month-long activities, and just day before yesterday we have released the Varotsvam calendar, where we start from 18th of April and then we have a grand finale on 26th of April. So we are looking forward for your suggestions, contributions and taking the university forward. So thank you very much. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, sir. We shall now begin the first panel on universities in the global knowledge ecosystem, innovation, research and industrial collaboration. May I now invite the moderator of the panel 1, Professor G.S.N. Raju, to the dais and lead the session.
They are coming to the
I also request the distinguished panelists, Professor V.S.R.K. Prasad Garu, Professor G. Nageswar Rao, Professor S. Ramakrishna, Professor Y. Satyanarayana, Professor B. Keshav Rao and Professor G.V.R. Srinivas Rao to grace and join the dais. I now have the privilege of introducing the moderator for this session, Professor G.S.N. Raju, Chancellor of Centenary University and an eminent academic leader. An outstanding scholar, he secured top ranks in his academic career at Andhra University, completed his PhD from IIT Kharagpur and served over 35 years as Professor of Electronics and Communication Engineering at Andhra University. He has held several prestigious positions, including Principal of AU College of Engineering, Vice-Chancellor of Andhra University, In-Charge Vice-Chancellor of Damodaram University, and many other distinctions to his credit. I now invite on our moderator for the session 1, Professor G.S.N. Raju Garu, to kindly continue the proceedings by introducing the panelists and lead the session. Thank you, sir.
Hello. Honorable Vice-Chancellor of Andhra University, Professor Felicitation garu, a galaxy of well accomplished Vice-Chancellors who headed Andhra University as well as other universities, rector, registrar, deans, faculty, scholars, students, media. Good morning, all of you. First of all, my greetings to all of you on the occasion of centenary year of the great Andhra University. Andhra University, in free people call it AU. Means, most of you know that, gold. It was started in 1926 with a great vision by the great people, Dr. C.R. Reddy and Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan and other great people. Since then, the legacy has been continued by the various administrators with the kind support of various governments. With its fantastic development, existence, over the last 100 years, Andhra University became beyond gold. We call it now a diamond. For its great contribution in the development of the nation. In fact, I congratulate Dr. Rajesh Kumar, who is the Vice-Chancellor now, who will be in future called as centenary year Vice-Chancellor forever. It's a great opportunity to work in this wonderful period. I also thank the Vice-Chancellor and other team for planning to conduct these panel discussions and to felicitate the former Vice-Chancellors. And the first panel is on the topic Universities in Global Knowledge, Innovation, Research and Industry Collaboration. This topic is absolutely relevant, not only now, with the past and future and forever. Because universities are not created just to teach and go. No. They are planned with a vision to teach with excellence, to conduct research, leading to innovations, producing a lot of patents, leading to products development, with industrial collaboration. We often see hundreds of patents applied, approved, granted. But very few are able to result in the revenues. They are helping for achieving accreditation grades, many times not beyond. At this time, I feel it more appropriate to recollect the great people like Swami Vivekananda, Mahatma Gandhi, Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, Jawaharlal Nehru, what they said about education. Swami Vivekananda, one of the greatest saints and monks, defined education as the manifestation of perfection already in man. He believed that knowledge is inherent in human mind. Mahatma Gandhi said, education is a holistic process focused on character building and development and practical skills for self-reliance rather than just academic knowledge. On the other hand, Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, one of the greatest philosophers, was former Vice-Chancellor and President of India, believed that the education is a tool for character building, man-making and transforming oneself. According to Jawaharlal Nehru, university is the cornerstone of modern nation that stands for humanism, tolerance and search for truth. In fact, Andhra University started the vision taking the views of such great people. After more than 30 years of gap, NEP 2020 is evolved. For about 34 years, the scheme and curriculum in universities was not changed. However, NEP 2020 brought a few great things which are absolutely useful for the universities to contribute for the development of the nation. I'll be happy to put forward a few key points of NEP 2020. They recommended all the courses, both for teaching and also for research, should be interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary and transdisciplinary. There is a lot of confusion to distinguish all these three terminologies expressed by many people. I think it is more appropriate just to clarify very briefly. Interdisciplinary is a program or research conducted encompassing two specializations in the same departments. For example, I belong to electronics and communication engineering. We have VLSI communications, satellite communications, radar communications, biomedical engineering, and other fields. If somebody is interested to conduct a research which requires the knowledge of VLSI and satellite communications or microwave communications, that can be defined as interdisciplinary. Multidisciplinary requires the knowledge and inputs of two different subjects offered by two different departments. For example, somebody is interested to conduct research in the area of mechatronics, that is related to mechanical and electronics. That is well defined as multidisciplinary. But what about transdisciplinary? Yes, it is a subject of interest and research, taking the help and coordination of two courses offered by two different schools. For example, if I offer integrated MTech program in engineering and also law, in engineering and also management, that means the two courses are offered from two different schools. They are considered to be transdisciplinary. And now as per NEP 2020, the research in this front is badly required. Another very important they brought out is multiple entry, multiple exit. Anybody can join and leave and rejoin after a couple of years, either are working in some industry or in some other institution. That is permitted. If he does 1 year of program, let us say 4-year program, he does only 1 year, he should be given a certificate. If he does 2 years, he should be given a diploma. If he completes 3 and 4 years, he should be given the degree. This requires a flexible curriculum, complete revision of the program, course and curriculum. Otherwise, it cannot be adopted. This is another very important point, key point brought out by NEP 2020. And these days, it is very important to integrate the systems. For example, have a satellite. It requires the knowledge of all engineering, all sciences, and many. It requires the knowledge of electronics, it requires knowledge of communication, it requires knowledge of mechanical, civil, and everything. Name anyone, it is there. Therefore, a university is supposed to conduct programs and research so that in such a way, so that they can work in such a system instead of employing 20 people with different specializations. If one can do, able to do research and do system integration with knowledge into the 3 different fields, it is good. Therefore, programs like BTech system integration or MTech in system integration is very essential. This is also another very important factor proposed by NEP 2020. And as a university, there are many things to do under research programs leading to innovation and product development. This essentially requires industrial collaboration. Unfortunately, there are a lot of issues. The other day, during convocation, our Honorable Governor rightly brought to the notice of the audience that people always confine to pessimism and optimism. But he said a realistic approach. You may think optimistically, but at the same time, a realistic approach should be adopted. There is a great term to learn from. So, once we design our curriculum, taking the inputs of various sources, innovation should be a part of the university, research should lead to innovation, and just it is not enough to stop at that. Unless you have industrial collaboration, you will not be able to justify the technologies. Therefore, industrial collaboration is badly required. Unfortunately, maybe at the end we'll discuss, take the inputs from audience and other people. We always say on different platforms, innovation, research, industrial collaboration, yes. But while implementation, there are a lot of problems to send people to work in industry. The reason may be we are able to produce engineering graduates to the extent of 1.5 million a year. Science graduates 4.9 millions. Commerce graduates approximately 10 million graduates. According to NEP 2020, every course including commerce should have skill training internship. It may be one semester or 1 year. By the time they complete the degree, they should be employable without any further training. So to accommodate such a big number in industry, it has become difficult for industry to accommodate. You are not able to implement that perfectly. They take hardly 10-20 candidates, but the hundreds of candidates are standing there for taking internship to develop skills. This is a real problem that should be addressed, definitely. So, on this context, to conduct research, valid research towards innovation, to create incubate centers, universities should be allowed to recruit on a continuous basis. In some of the departments, not only in Andhra University, in many universities, 10% people of the required strength are available. Though they have some intention and passion to do, they are not able to do because the other teachings loads are heavy. So there is a responsibility for the government to allow the universities to recruit on a continuous basis so that the vision of research innovation becomes a reality. As I told in the beginning, some centers of system integration should be established where people can sit, discuss ideas, change under given constraints to develop the products. And these labs should be open all 24 hours like in IITs and the training institutes. So with these certain inputs, it is possible to have great innovations, to file a lot of patents and licenses, to contribute to the development of the nation in a big way. With these I stop and I request our respected panel members to start their briefing. First of all, I request Professor V.S.R.K. Prasad. He is a professor in chemical engineering and was the director, Indian Institute of Petroleum and Energy. I request him to start. Thank you very much.
Honorable Vice-Chancellor of Andhra University, Professor G.P. Dasekar, LRC of Vice-Chancellors from and all our previous Vice-Chancellor of Andhra University, my former colleagues from Andhra University, and my dear young friends. First of all, let me thank Professor G.S.N. Raju for introducing the topic, and thereafter, this is now time to discuss about the global education knowledge with respect to the innovation, research and collaboration, industrial collaboration. So, as rightly pointed by Professor G.S.N. Raju garu about the national education policy that has been framed to encourage transdisciplinary on one hand and continuation of education for the various differently interested or differently abled persons for various reasons because of some inconveniences in their career. Whatever the reasons may be, they have been given a chance to continue their education without any inconvenience. That too, having a flexibility of going with the change in their subjects. So now, if you analyze the total education institutions in the world, you can find that about 25 to 50,000 either universities or higher education institutions are now prevailing in the world, and it is a surprising and positive way of education development. From 2000 to this time, the institutions have been increased from almost 5,000 to what we are seeing 25,000, 50,000 institutions today. And even in India, it is mostly because this enhancement of the institutions is mainly in our Asia, and India is also a part of it. If we just go through the number of universities and higher education institutions in India, almost there are 4,000, and particularly only universities 1,300 now existing, with 700 universities prevailing in 2013-14. That means in the last decade, almost 12 years, it has been doubled. It is a positive sign on one hand, but at the same time, we have to check, though we have the highest number of universities and higher education institutions in the world, followed by USA. I repeat the word, followed by USA. But here, we have happiness only for the number of institutions. But the problem is, with the standard institutions recognized by world ranking, we are at a very low point. Almost in the top 2,000 world ranking institutions, we stay only with some 50 plus institutions under the global ranking, and strangely, in these 50 plus institutions, 50 are almost IITs or similar institutions. And traditional universities, if you go, it is hardly 2, 3 or 4 among the top 2,000. And there are obviously Delhi University and ANU, Jamia Islamia, University of Mumbai, like that. So, what are the problems we are facing? Why are we not able to come to the top in the world, though we have a number of the institutions? This is to be retrospectively analyzed. And it is a time, particularly our great university, Andhra University, entering into 100 years of its existence. And if you see, above 300 years of existence, there are only double-digit universities. Then, with 100 years, we are also entering the club of about a few hundreds of the universities that are there in the 100 years old. Then it is our time for us to see that our institution also will be first in the national university ranking in the top 10 or 15. Then at least enter into the 1,000 club of the world ranking. If that is that, we have to check what are the various parameters we have to go through for getting into that. Naturally, if you go through the analysis of the various universities like Harvard University, MIT, or Cambridge University, or Imperial University, which are in the top 2,000, you will find a few common parameters that have been in their favor. That is the classroom strength, faculty student strength. In classroom, generally most of these, which are in the top 2,000, have less than 40 in the classroom strength. Also, the quality of the faculty and the research and faculty student ratio. This is quite in a good term like 1:10 in most of the institutions where you have good ranking of the world ranking. CWR, as you can say it. Then, how the syllabus is being revised very often to turn to the needs of the latest technology is another parameter which will be weighing to make the institute to stop. Unfortunately, as my predecessor speaker, Professor G.S. mentioned, most of the syllabus are not being revised for years in majority of the institutions. Fortunately, what I had observed is, in the recent years in Andhra University, we are seeing the revised syllabi with the board of studies being framed with various industrial experts. But at the same time, the industrial experts also, they have to be given time. And most of the cases, what I had observed is, if they are given the syllabus, revised syllabus, to break the syllabus, if the meeting is to be organized, if they are given only some 10 days or 15 days of time, naturally, we have to remember, they have their own engagements in their industry. It is not a top priority for them. So at least, when we have already framed the structure of our committees, what I suggest to all the viewers, chairman and the connected people is that communicate next year meeting now itself with tentative dates. And also give the agenda, what are the various curriculum to be revised or reviewed, such that they will have quite good time, and monthly wise probably we can send a reminder that the time is coming short. It is such that they will be thoroughly with that, at least they will spend some of their valuable time for this. And once if we are thorough with the latest technologies, that will be really great. What I feel is artificial intelligence, energy, sustainable growth, and philosophy. These are from four different curricula, from four different wings. And these four are essential for any graduate, whether engineering graduate or arts graduate, science graduate, whatever it may be. Without the minimum knowledge of these four subjects, that is philosophy, energy, sustainable growth, and artificial intelligence, no one will be real suitable graduate in their field, that is my belief. What happens is, why I am stressing these four subjects, particularly if you see the war that is going on today, everyone knows it is a meaningless war. What made the people to get into this is probably some selfish motive or ego or whatever it may be. Finally, the entire world suffers. Probably the philosophy is taught in each and every curriculum from primary school to educate, higher education to the degree level. Naturally, they think in the social and human approach also, just not simply in the name of the egos and other things. So, let and live let, the human being must be the philosophy, and if that has to prevail, so philosophy will play a major important role. Other three things anyway everyone can understand. Artificial intelligence is now the time or need of the hour, and definitely everyone understands in every subject artificial intelligence is required. But at the same time, you cannot say artificial intelligence replaces human being. Human being cannot replace artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence cannot replace human being. Please remember that. Both are true. But they can co-survive with some physical properties being tested by the human being, and mechanical and machinery way of doing the things can be done by artificial intelligence without a much of the input of this one. Even as law or any subject, without artificial, say the other day, artificial intelligence, even the Honorable Chief Justice of Supreme Court informed that artificial intelligence is damaging the judgments that have been given and representing in the other way. So it is high time that we have to, as I also know the time limit is there, so I am coming to the end. So please note that artificial intelligence or the energy, because the energy optimization, if really it is there, this war probably would have been prevented. Now we are, thanks our country is progressing in the right way with almost, by 2047 we have placed 100% on alternate energy, renewable energy sources. And we have achieved the 2030 goal by 2026, and by 2030, if we can reach the 2045 goal, probably we'll all be comfortable and know what will probably may be influencing our system and economy. So everything, economy and everything, it depends upon the energy and optimization. So sustainable growth, artificial intelligence and structural philosophy, all these are to be made in the curriculum for each and every branch. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Prasad Garu. Now, since the given time is up to 11:30, I request Professor Nageswara Garu to take 8 minutes to present his views on the given topic. Professor Nageswara Garu is a professor of chemistry, served more than 2 decades in Andhra University. He was Vice-Chancellor also for Andhra University. Please start.
For those who have come late, the topic of the discussion of today's morning panel discussion is universities in the global knowledge ecosystem, innovation, research, and industry collaboration. Professor Rajgaru discussed the basis of this topic, and we found a basis for the discussion. Function as isolated islands, but should become part of a global ecosystem to evolve into a functional network of knowledge sharing. India is accelerating towards becoming a global economy. We know India is the 4th biggest economy in the world. It's going to become the 3rd biggest economy probably in a few years. By 2047, 100 years of independence of this country, the world financial organizations are expecting India to become the 1st or 2nd biggest economy in the world. To achieve this, education shall play a very crucial role, particularly the higher education. So the universities should become a global knowledge economy. Its higher education institutions are now standing at inflection point. NEP 2020 was mentioned by Professor G.S. Rajgaru. So this is the platform through which we have to achieve these goals. And for this, universities should serve as central hubs in the global knowledge system, acting as engines of research, innovation, and talent development. They drive economic and social development by bridging academia, industry, and government through international collaboration. And regarding industry, academia collaboration, higher education institutions have many experiences, both positive and negative. All the time, industries think that we are providing employment to the students who pass out of the institutions, higher education institutions. At the same time, higher education institutions think that we are producing the employees to the industries. And this is the ego problem. Very rarely they come together to cooperate each other, to help each other, because the academic institutions will give general concepts, and the industrial application shall be possible only if the internships are provided by the industries. But many a time, it's our experience, many of the teachers who approach industries takes place, we are going to end up with training programs. The perfect project is co-creation between academia and industry. For that, we should envision and simulation technologies mirror real-world infrastructural challenges. That's what Professor Vice-Chancellor also mentioned. The universities are essential for producing knowledge-intensive new enterprises, academic publications, and patents as crucial players in global innovation system. Universities act as integrators, pulling together various stakeholders like industry, government, and public to foster interdisciplinary collaboration and knowledge exchange. Talent mobility and education are crucial for creating a globally mobile workplace with a strong focus on digital-first pedagogy and interdisciplinary skill development. And about internationalization, universities invest in international campuses and networks to create global talent pools and facilitate the research. You know, many of you know, Andhra University is the first university to start MBA program in this country. And Andhra University has many firsts to its credits. This is one among many. And now, regarding our campus, Andhra University is already an international university. We have about 1,200 international students on the campus. And we started international MBA program on the campus. Probably in 2017, under ROSA, we started MBA program, MBA International Business Management program in Andhra University, and that program has been going on successfully. So India is evolving from expansion to excellence by strengthening academic integrity and investing in specialized institutions such as dedicated skill universities, AI universities, and research partnerships. So higher education institutions should maintain global networks, ensuring the circulation of knowledge and expertise. We also have to participate in ranking, because nowadays this is a parameter to measure the strengths of the university and the quality of the university. We also should participate in NA ranking, PS, sometimes education rankings, and we should try to achieve the best in the country. Yeah, at least among the universities, we should number one, including the central universities. So global collaboration must be anchored in mutual value creation through joint research, faculty exchange, student mobility, and shared innovation platforms. Universities have to forge partnerships across the border to address global issues like climate change and sustainable development. And India has to strengthen academic integrity, integrate artificial intelligence responsibly, and build globally competitive institutions. India's higher education ecosystem must evolve from expansion to excellence. Universities should have fully established campuses anchored in research, innovation, and long-term institutional commitment. And the last aspect is, India's readiness is not defined solely by scale, but by its ability to embed integrity, digital capacity, and industrial relevance into its academic DNA. As global universities deepen their engagement, the larger opportunity lies in building world-class Indian institutions capable not only of collaborating globally, but of competing confidently on the world stage. So with this, I thank Felicitation for giving this opportunity to put forward some of my views about the globalization of the universities. I thank Professor G. S. Raj Garu for inviting me onto the desk. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Professor Nagaraj Garu, for giving very comprehensive requirements to make the universities for research, innovation, and industry connect. Thank you. Now I request Professor Satyanarayana Garu to initiate his talk. Professor Satyanarayana Garu is the professor of law for 2 decades in Andhra University. He was the alumnus of Osmania, Delhi University, and Andhra University. He was Vice-Chancellor, founder Vice-Chancellor of Damodar Sanjeev National Law University. Please take 8 minutes, Professor Satyanarayana Garu, to give your views.
Honorable Vice-Chancellor of Andhra University, Chairman of the panel, G.S. Raju, my co-panel members, very distinguished former Vice-Chancellors and elite professors of this university, students, scholars, and everyone who is present here on this occasion. Good morning. Well, this panel is going to discuss on several issues. What I would like to say on this occasion is that law is evolving very fast because of social transformation that is taking place. Today, imparting law is not as it was some 50, 60 years ago. There are a lot of changes in the curriculum and the style of teaching, the pedagogy that we are involving. The teachers have to equip themselves with the latest trends. That is how we are studying. Now there is another challenge. From 1986 onwards, there is constant growth of national law universities in India. There are about 24. I don't know if anything has come up recently. National law universities, and the Damodaram Sanjeev National Law University is is one among them. These national law universities are involving themselves in very, in fact, socially relevant projects, society relevant projects. But ever since national law universities have emerged, Andhra University Law College is taking it as a challenge to meet the ends. In fact, it has greatly succeeded in recent years in competing with existing national law universities and adopting culture, the syllabus and other practices. And I would like to say one thing, that in fact, I was unfortunate not to be a student of this great university, as our former Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh, called it as magnificent campus. I had no opportunity to study on this magnificent campus, but I was fortunate enough to be inducted as a lecturer soon after I retired from the Indian Air Force. After having served the service for 15 years, I got into university campus. I thank everyone responsible for my coming into the campus and continuing over 26 years of teaching, and later becoming the Vice-Chancellor, founding Vice-Chancellor of Damodaram Sanjivaya National Law University. On this occasion, just I take 2 minutes about innovation and research. As we are competing with national law universities, Andhra University has already established new strides in research. In fact, some of the national law schools are following these traditional universities. Traditional universities are not weak universities, and they are with tremendous traditions. So therefore, Andhra University has made a mark. To quote one instance, in 1986, when first national law school was started in Bangalore, there were no faculty members. It was my student, Andhra University student, who had completed his master's in law with gold medal, was asked to be the first faculty of National Law University Bangalore in 1986. And that is great, because we started national law school culture with our own student, S.V. Jogarao. He was a student of myself, Keshav Rao, Rajendra Prasad. We were all his direct teachers. So that is the history of Andhra University. So, Andhra University Law College has a slogan, profound slogan, which I adopted in my university, that is Damodaram Sanjivaya National Law University. Every institution imparting legal education should aim for 3 things. Number 1, it's a part of research, but I don't want to again dwell into it because there's no time. It should turn out socially relevant lawyers, right-thinking judges, and compassionate bureaucrats. Yes, Andhra University has done it for years, and in these fields, there were eminent persons whom I know intimately. I would like to name here and call it a day. As far as socially relevant lawyers are concerned, Andhra University has produced great lawyers, great judges, and great bureaucrats. Among them are, number 1, D.V. Subbarao, twice a Bar Council member. Now, what else you expect from Andhra University's research and innovation in the modern era, when we produced great people those days? And D.V. Subbarao was a socially relevant lawyer. He lived till last for the benefit of the society, upliftment of the society. And coming to the second category of students whom we turn out at the campus is right-thinking judges. Andhra University had the rare distinction of sending a great man, K. Ramaswamy, as the judge of Supreme Court, who passed out in 1958. what else we need? That speaks volumes about our greatness. And coming to the compassionate bureaucrats, every bureaucrat must be compassionate. And yes, I have a name here, though very young officer who retired. L.V. Subramaniam, son of a university professor, a compassionate bureaucrat. So this is how Andhra University has so far made tremendous legacy, tremendous history. Let us all work together to sustain it. To end, I would say, my stay in the campus for about 26 years is memorable. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now I request Professor Shankar Ramakrishna to take 8 minutes.
సభకు నమస్కారం. ఈ శతాబ్ది ఉత్సవాలకి ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ని ముఖ్యంగా ఆలోచించి చేసిన మన ఆనరబుల్ వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ జీపీ రాజశేఖర్ గారికి నమస్కారాలు తెలుపుతూ, ప్రొఫెసర్ జిఎస్ఎం రాజు గారు చైర్మన్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ panel discussion, and many galaxy of the staff members, vice chancellors and young friends. I'm very happy to share certain views, and also I would like to just mention that some of the things that are happening in India while we are trying to increase our research capabilities. In 2010 and 2020, India has ranked third in the science and engineering publications. They have tripled the count of this, and they wanted to do it only just for the sake of the rankings in the universities. Coming to now the generation is looking for the patents. I would just like to mention that the universities like IITs, IAC, they have done commendable job in bringing out nice patents which are also registered and sanctioned. But the areas of their research is only the artificial intelligence, robotics, chemical engineering, nanotechnology, materials and sustainable energy. Their limitation is because of their probably the expertise that they have in their arena. Now coming to the Indian context, our patent filings have increased so much that many of them were not sanctioned. I'll just give an example that according to the World Intellectual Property Indicators, it is noted that patent filing was 64,480, and India made 6th spot in the world globally. But many of them patents are being filed by the private universities, while our universities have mentioned that the Indian Patent Office has mentioned that it has increased to 60%, and it has 110,375 patents were filed. And our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi hailed it as milestone in India's journey towards an innovation-driven knowledge economy. In pursuit of its course, IPO has fast-tracked and fees of academia is subsidized. Most of the universities focused on the patents and contributed to the surge of filing the patents. I would just like to mention that the patents increased in 24-25 to 37,681, mostly by private universities. I just want mentioning these things because whenever there is an importance is given as far as the rankings are concerned, the universities are gearing up to use that particular base or particular criteria to get the rankings. And I would just like to mention that the Galagatias University has filed 1,752 and in 2020, and Jain University 5,774 patents. My dear friends, let me just mention that the 23 IITs have filed 3,331 patents, of which 2,118 were granted and 31 NITs filed 933 patents while 627 were granted. So the quality of research you can understand by this patent filing. I would just like to also mention that none of the patents filed by Galgotias or Jain universities were not granted any patent. Not granted any patent. So where are we going? Are we going to do the research properly or just to file these things we are doing that? The universities normally, which will be going on for the basic research, will have to look forward for the amount of energy that is spent, money is spent, and they should do the useful research and go for the patents. The recent RoboDog fiasco also has my dear friends, let me just also share that because time is very short, I would like to just mention that what the Andhra University can do in future, because it is lying in an area, in the coastal area, and it should to actually concentrate or focus the coastal zone management or the coastal areas should be taken as a research objective. For instance, I have seen it in Canada, in Halifax University where I worked. There, I have seen that a model was built the various aspects of a basic fundamental aspects of oceans, like currents, like what are the tides, then what is the productivity in that. So all these things can happen in certain areas where we go for the practical construction of these things. I also would like to mention that the Visakhapatnam have got a lot of industries, and I'm very sorry to say that the industries are not owning Andhra University. I don't know where the gap. Feel and fragmented. Why can't the industries adopt Andhra University and waive certain types of fees? For instance, they ask for the earnest money. All these things can be avoided, and directly they can give the work to the university once they find that expertise is available in the university. Then the air pollution, how the air pollution is having the impact because of the environmental conditions. We know that we are measuring only up to the respirable level, whereas you can use the drones to find out what is happening in the low atmospheric areas because of the various conditions that are prevailing in this coastal area. So these two areas we have to focus, and as already the Prime Minister of India has pointed out that the CER and CSR, the corporate social responsibility and corporate environmental responsibility funds should be diverted to the universities to build up the various working models in order to actually encourage the students and researchers here. I thank the alma mater which has given me the research capabilities and also given me the platform to raise as a Vice-Chancellor here. I salute to our alma mater Andhra University, and I thank all the people who are here for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ramakrishna Garu, professor in the Department of Civil Engineering, with the expertise in environmental engineering and science. He was the former Vice Chancellor of Krishna University. Thank you, Krishna. I request Professor Divya Srinivasarao to initiate his talk. Please take 8 minutes. He was a professor of civil engineering with the expertise in structural engineering. He was former Vice Chancellor of JNTU, Anantapur. Please.
Galaxy of the intellectuals and able administrators sitting on the dais, of the dais, and my dear young student friends. Very good morning to you all. The university has taken up very aptly for the discussion. The title for this today's program is Universities in the Global Knowledge Ecosystems, Innovations, Research and Industry Collaboration. My mother used to say always, woman first. Yes. The first woman to win Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences in 2009, Professor Elinor Ostrom of Indiana University, USA, she challenged the conventional wisdom by showing that the communities can sustainably manage shared resources. Communities can sustainably manage shared resources. This paradigm, this frame, in due course of time, got extended to the algorithm of knowledge ecosystems and its sustainable impact on the present day world. Over the years, different types of ecosystems have been conceptualized, such as business ecosystems, innovation ecosystems, natural and ecological ecosystems, digital ecosystems, of course, the knowledge ecosystems. So the concept of knowledge ecosystem is relatively new, and it got greater attention, especially in the context of COVID-19 pandemic, when business groups had to adapt to the crisis, and which determined an enhancement of the importance of knowledge development, sharing and adaptation. A knowledge ecosystem is a very complex and self-organizing system of interconnected institutions and technologies that interact to create, share and utilize knowledge. It fosters collaborative innovation, learning and improved decision making through dynamic and open-ended networks. Knowledge ecosystems are agile and evolve in response to the changing environments. Knowledge ecosystems comprise of three important components: individuals and groups holding expertise, that is researchers and experts; systems that facilitate knowledge sharing, that is technology; and the methodologies for creating, translating and applying knowledge, that is processes. Of course, the overall benefit of this knowledge ecosystems main driver of economic growth in the present day world, and education has increasingly become the foundation for individual prosperity and social mobility. See, the emergence and development of new markets industries, products and professions in the modern world, and the ever-increasing complexity of the society is leading to a fact that innovation processes of enterprises are dependent, I repeat, the innovation processes of enterprises are dependent on external knowledge and interaction with a variety of participants in creation of knowledge and in the knowledge ecosystems. So, this results the transformation of universities not as knowledge partners but as knowledge integrators. Universities as knowledge integrators play a vital role in innovation ecosystem. As the participants in the cross-industry innovation ecosystem marked with interdisciplinary nature of modern innovations, the universities should change their role from the traditional and specialized universities to innovative universities in the modern world. The aim of the university shall not only to increase the amount of knowledge accumulated in the knowledge ecosystem, but to generate new information or knowledge. The university shall create a space for the resources and actors to more consistently and systematically align themselves to address the regional problems and the needs. As Professor Nageswara said, the universities shall evolve themselves from the isolated academic centers to anchor institutions to drive the academic growth. Of course, but there is no fixed model for any university's growth or any university's success. Its variety is its strength, its collaboration is its strength, its outreach is its strength. So the global knowledge ecosystem relies on basically a triple helix model that has been developed way back in 2005, 1995 and 2000 by Henry Yakovich, where three spheres, the university, industry and government interact to foster innovation, where the universities generate knowledge, foundational research and a skilled talent pipeline. The industry provides market expertise, financial resources and infrastructure to commercialize the academic discoveries, and the government sets regulatory framework. These three spheres, the university, industry and government, do not just interact, but they evolve together, often taking the roles formerly reserved for others by developing a collaborative space, creating a hybrid institution. This model is also not sufficient for present-day world. Therefore, the extensions of this particular model, something like quadruple helix, quintuple helix, are suggested by involving the public or the civil society and the nature, the natural environment as the fourth and fifth spheres. Now we have five spheres have to work together to make this global knowledge ecosystem full-fledged. That is university, industry, government, public and the natural environment. See, there are supporting this innovation framework, various drivers of global research and collaboration have come up in the recent past. But to develop competitiveness, the quality of countries' research universities and their ranking in Global Innovation Index is also initiated. However, the figures at which the India stands is highly dismal. In a sense, according to World Economic Forum Report 2025, India stood at 91st place in the university, industry, R&D collaboration, where small countries like Israel, Switzerland and Norway top the first three positions. Similarly, in the field of university, industry and international engagement, which is determined by using the combined activities of the top 5 academic institutions in the country, India stood at 49th position as per the World University Rankings 2025. So what the Indian universities can and shall be expected to do? That's a question. Friends, knowledge is the foundation for the renaissance of any country. The country's economic growth and value-added activities are increasingly relying on knowledge. Today, the role of contemporary universities goes beyond teaching and conducting primary research. They shall incorporate high demand for research and innovation and align their ambitions to lead nationally and recognized internationally. The university shall be the drivers of regional innovation systems by effectively using the human capital, but not simply the catalysts. The university shall not be just trainers of highly qualified scientists and researchers, but shall be the attractors of talent from outside world for the benefit of regional and global communities. Universities shall act as good community players that facilitate local linkages and networks and be transformed into anchors of creativity. It is imperative that the university shall be socially embedded, thereby fostering development through direct engagement. Only through proliferation of networks and networks between the like-minded alliances, transformation can occur at the scale that is immediately needed to advance our present global knowledge systems. Universities shall not be seen as self-indulgent people factories, but as valuable idea generators that have potential to change lives worldwide. Friends, we know that change is not that easy. Modernization and growth in long together need, not simply replicate. Disassembling and reassembling the university's education modules, constantly readjusting and reinventing the research vectors, and finally, we must remain relevant to the demands of all participants in the global knowledge ecosystems. I thank profusely the university administration in general and in particular the Dean Outreach for providing me an opportunity to participate in this program. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Srinivasarao. Now I request Professor Kesara Garu, who is alumnus of Andhra University, the Professor of Law. He was Vice-Chancellor, Damodariya Sanjeevaya National University.
Respected moderator,
Okay, yeah.
co-panelists, former, present and future Vice-Chancellors of Indian Universities, co-teachers, dear students, for me, thank you and go away. But moderator sir has cautioned me. I know you are capable of playing such tricks. Don't play. Especially when I am in the presidency chair. The assignment given to you must be performed at any cost. So, in accordance with the direction given by him, I would say, I join all of you in Andhra University celebrating its centenary year. The legacy is due to the contribution by its legendary Vice-Chancellors, and it is for us to carry it forward. This university has given me grounding that helped me in working in 6 different national law universities in India. Let me share what is happening there so that there can be, from legacy, there can be a global impact. Global impact comes when we produce an individual that is globally competent but culturally Indian rooted. One should not forget his cultural background, but at the same time, he should acquire those qualities which will make him undoubtedly globally competent. For that, certain experiments have been done in national universities where I work, where I was also a bit instrumental in those experiments. I wish to place before you three important experiments. First experiment relates to I, instruction. Second experiment relates to I, innovation. Third experiment relates to I, industry. That is the theme of this entire panel also. Coming to the first one, we all know that teaching in a classroom takes place because of three beautiful words: book, talk, chalk. Chalk piece is used, teacher speaks, and the teacher, great teachers never speak, they only read books in the class. Those days are gone. In its place came look, see, and book. Look at your mobile, look at your iPad, look at your laptop, seek the information which you want, but hook it inside. This is totally left to the students. Most of the time in the class, the 55 minutes is not spent for teaching the fundamental knowledge of that particular discipline. The student is expected to come to the class knowing full well the fundamentals. And the teacher's job is to find out whether the student has understood the fundamentals properly or not. Whether he has a sound footing foundation or not is the job. Therefore, 55 minutes are not used for just teaching or spoon feeding the basics. It is for the student to come. And this experiment proved to be highly successful. The students are learning the fundamentals, they are coming, and the teacher is testing whether his understanding is correct or not, and then an in-depth analysis of the concept that is understood by the student. The second important experiment relates to innovation. Innovation comes from research. Well, I may be pardoned for telling, research is done for adding doctor before the name and adding PhD after the name for degree sake. And research is also being done because unless you have a PhD, you have no future promotion. So, entitlement to get promoted depends on holding a PhD. Well, the second experiment that is done is, we have created problem-centered research, not centers, but clusters. Problem-centered research clusters. There will be an economist, there will be a political scientist, there will be a historian, there will be a sociologist, there will be a general law professor, there will be a law professor who is especially specialist in that particular area of the problem, and there will be teachers who will be participating in this team. They are a cluster. Their job is to explore and come out with a viable solution to the problem being faced in the community. And this experiment proved to be really useful, successful and fruitful. The third important thing, industry. Industry collaboration is undoubtedly encouraged by asking the student to not to spend away the vacation in the house, but go to a law firm and see what is happening practically there. Internship is made mandatory. And there are some professionals who are experts in the field. They are being taken as professor of practice. This facility is provided by UGC in the National Education Policy. We are taking the people who are experts having served in the industry as professor of practice, and they are coming and sharing the insights of practice. Theory is being put forth, practical aspects are being dealt with, and ultimately the product, the human being, the student that goes out of the portals of the university is turning out to be highly competent, and undoubtedly roots are in India, therefore never forgetting the cultural roots. These are the three simple experts that starts with I, which virtually created a global impact. There are two national universities which are now coming within the range of the global 500. Slowly the number will increase. But we all know pretty well, a university will not become a global university because in the name the word global is there. The global and the impact must be felt globally. Then only anything can be achieved. Well, I'm sure if these small things are attempted at micro level and then we take it to macro level, not only any discipline, any faculty, but the entire university can be a great contributor towards this global impact. At one time, global north was provider of knowledge and global south was the consumer of knowledge. Days are now appropriate for us to make a paradigm shift where global south has to become the creator of knowledge and global north should become the positioning platform for the knowledge thus created. I am sure all of us collectively can definitely do it. The institutions which have come up to the global level, have global rankings, are nourished by faculty members who have roots in the traditional universities. Only thing is a little bit of determination and a paradigm shift and a much more application industry will definitely help us achieving from legacy to prophecy. The prophetic outcome should be global impact. Thank you very much for a patient hearing.
Thank you, K. Garu. Professor K. Garu is also Vice-Chancellor now. Thank you for your expressed by our respected panel members. As the topic indicates, innovation, universities in global knowledge, and will be working together.
Cable match.
And in Industry 6.0, across the table, two machines will be working together and a human being will be. Great country. Now it is open for some queries and discussion. We spend about 5 minutes and we close it. And regarding industry collaboration, people mention that it is not really happening because there are problems. Now, how to address the problems? To have 100% industry connect, industry collaboration, so that every industry comes forward to train, to provide internship for all the students, depending on the need. So, please, any questions, please? Questions can be very brief. Let us discuss.
I have just one desire, my personal. It is not just the before you leave this university by completing your term to celebrate its 100 years, please fill up 100 posts at least. Please fill up to take the help of the government, not the alumni, not the industries. The government will cover. Please do it before you leave the university. completing your term. Then my suggestion only the students, what we give you is only knowledge, nothing else, not a job. We give you gold, you convert it to as a nose ornament or ear ornament or hand ornament. We are not worried. It is your liability. So after studying MBBS or so many things, people become IAS officers. There is no link between the two. Your aim is different. So what we give you is only knowledge, nothing else. It is up to you to modify yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It will be taken care definitely with respect to universities. I think the present governments are coming forward to fill up at least some of the books as mentioned. Thank you. Any more, please?
Taking many PhD students to supervise, I would like to
A number of scholars. Thank you. I think, sir, time is up. Let us close this session. I thank all the audience, Galactic Vice-Chancellor, all the panel members. Particularly, I thank Honorable Vice-Chancellor Rajshekar Garu for giving an opportunity to conduct this wonderful panel discussion. Thank you a lot. Definitely, we hope Andhra University will have a great future. And let us all be ready, and our future generation will be ready to conduct 150th year celebrations. I congratulate everyone. Thank you.
May I now request all the, request the moderator and the panelists of the session to remain on the dais for the felicitation. Now I request Professor R. Madhavi ma'am, Professor L. Gopal Reddy sir, Professor B. Sachinarayan sir, Professor Surya Prakash Rao sir, Professor J.S. Prabhakar Rao sir, Professor for the felicitation ceremony. Request our Honorable Vice-Chancellors for the Professor G.P. Rajshekhar sir also to come onto the dais. Along with the principals of different constituent colleges, kindly come onto the dais to conduct the felicitation. Professor R. Madhavi ma'am. I request Professor P. King, Rector sir, to come onto the dais. I request Professor R. Madhavi ma'am, Professor L. Venugopal Reddy sir, Professor Veela Sachinarayan sir, Professor Surya Prakash Rao sir, Professor J.S. Prabhakar Rao sir, Professor George Victor sir, and Professor A. Ramalao sir, to honor our Vice-Chancellors in different universities and the parent university also. We want to felicitate them for the things they have done for the university. Yes, sir.
Professor R. Madhavi garu. Professor R. Madhavi.
Professor R. Okkam Madhavi is a distinguished geologist, eminent academician and visionary education leader, renowned for her contributions to parasitology and higher education. She completed her academic training at Andhra University and began her career there as a lecturer in 1971, individually rising to become professor and head of the Department of Geology. With over three decades of dedicated service, she held several key academic and administration positions. And she has been the former Vice-Chancellor of Sri Padmavati Mahila University from the years 2001 to 2004. Professor
L. Venugopal Reddy. Sir, the next felicity is Professor L. Venugopal Reddy. Professor L. Venugopal Reddy is a distinguished academician and visionary administrator known for his impactful leadership in higher education. He began his career at Sri Krishnadevaraya University and rose to prominent leadership roles, including Vice-Chancellor of Acharya Nagarjuna University, later Andhra University. As Vice-Chancellor of Andhra University, he brought administrative efficiency, restored academic discipline, and introduced significant reforms. A leader of integrity and foresight, Professor Reddy's contribution remained a proud part of Andhra University's legacy. This citation is presented to Professor L. Venugopal Reddy by Andhra University fraternity on the occasion of Andhra University Shatabdi Mahotsav. Professor Veela Sachinarayan.
Professor Veela Sachinarayan is a distinguished academician, researcher and administrator with remarkable contributions to mechanical engineering, CAD, and higher education. He completed his BE from Andhra University and went on to earn multiple postgraduate degrees, followed by a PhD from IIT Delhi. Professor Sachinarayan held several important administrative roles, including head of the department, chairman, Chairman of the Board of Studies, Rector and later Vice-Chancellor of Andhra University. He also served as former correspondent of GMR Institute of Technology and later Vice-Chancellor and Chancellor of Beltech University. This citation is presented to Professor Felicitation sir by the Andhra University fraternity on the occasion of the Andhra University Shatabdi Mahotsav.
Professor J.V. Prabhakar Rao. Professor J.V. Prabhakar Rao is a distinguished academician and accomplished administrator known for his significant contribution to commerce education and university development. He began his academic career at Delhi University and joined Andhra University in 1973. A dedicated teacher and researcher, he guided several doctorates. He contributed to national bodies such as UGC, AICT and served as visiting professor abroad. This citation is presented to Professor J.V. Prabhakar Rao by Andhra University fraternity on the occasion of Andhra University Shatabdi Mahotsav.
Professor Dasari Surya Prakash Rao sir. Professor Dr. Dasari Surya Prakash Rao sir is a distinguished legal scholar, academician and administrator with over 4 decades of experience in teaching, research and academic leadership. He completed his legal education at Nagpur University and served at Andhra University from 1994 to 2022, shaping generations of law students through his dedicated teaching and mentorship. Professor Rao has actively contributed to national academic bodies and participated in international academic engagements. As Vice-Chancellor of Damodaram Sanjeevaya National Law University, has been instrumental in strengthening academic programs, research initiatives and institutional governance. This citation is presented to Professor Dr. Dasari Surya Prakash Rao by the Andhra University fraternity on the occasion of the Andhra University Shatabdi Mahotsav.
Professor George Victor. Professor George Victor is an eminent scholar of philosophy, distinguished academician and visionary administrator known for his contributions to Indian philosophy, particularly Advaita Vedanta. A dedicated teacher and researcher, he authored several books, published widely, and guided several PhDs. He served as Vice-Chancellor of Adikavi Nannaya University. This citation is presented to Professor George Victor by Andhra University fraternity on the occasion of Andhra University Shatabdi Mahotsav.
Professor A. Ramarao sir, former Vice-Chancellor Sri Krishnadevaraya University from 2005 to 2008. Professor Ramarao is an eminent scholar in biochemistry, distinguished academic administrator and visionary educationist. He completed his MSc from Andhra University and earned his PhD in immunology from the University of Manitoba, Canada. With over 4 decades of service, he has made significant contributions to teaching and research, guided numerous scholars and published extensively in national and international journals. He has received several prestigious awards including the National Overseas Scholarship, Bharatiya Shiksha Gold Medal, Rashtriya Gaurav Award and Honorary Colonel rank in NCC. A committed academic and social contributor, his work continues to inspire. This citation is presented to Professor Tota Ramarao by the Andhra University fraternity on the occasion of the Andhra University Shatabdi Mahotsav.
Professor G. Subramaniam Garu. Professor G. Subramaniam Garu. Professor G. Subramaniam Garu has served as Registrar Andhra University and he was the Vice-Chancellor. He served as Vice-Chancellor for Keetham University. Sir, we are happy to have you with us. This citation is presented to you by Andhra University fraternity on the occasion of Andhra University Shatabdi Mahotsav. May I request Sunita ma'am to come onto the dais? EC member Sunita ma'am to come onto the dais. Now, Professor G.S.N. Rajgaru. Professor G.S.N. Rajgaru, an outstanding scholar. He secured top ranks in his academic career at Andhra University, completed his PhD from IIT Kharagpur, served over 35 years as Professor of Electronics and Communication. He held several prestigious positions including Principal, AU College of Engineering, Vice-Chancellor, Andhra University, in-charge Vice-Chancellor for several universities. Sir, this citation is presented to you on the occasion of Shatabdi Mahotsav from Andhra University. Professor V.S.R.K. Prasad.
Professor Dr. V.S.R.K. Prasad is a distinguished chemical engineer, eminent academician and visionary institution builder, known for his significant contributions to environmental engineering, research and academic leadership. He completed his B.Tech, M.Tech and PhD in chemical engineering from Andhra University and served the institution for over 3 decades, rising to the position of professor. Professor Prasad also held key administrative roles and later served as principal of ANITS, where he led the institution to achieve NAC A grade, NBA accreditation and autonomous status. He further contributed as chairman of the state level environmental appraisal committee. This citation is presented to Professor Dr. V.S.R.K. Prasad by Andhra University fraternity on the occasion of the Andhra University Shatabdi Mahotsav.
Professor V. Keshav Rao. Professor V. Keshav Rao is a distinguished legal scholar and an accomplished academic administrator with over 4 decades of experience in teaching and research, a gold medalist throughout. He has served as Vice-Chancellor for DSNLU University. This citation is presented to Professor V. Keshav Rao by Andhra University fraternity on the occasion of Andhra University Shatabdi Mahotsav.
Professor G. Nagesh Rao, sir. Vice-Chancellor, Andhra University, former Vice-Chancellor of Andhra University, 2016 to 2019. Professor Gollapalli Nagesh Rao is a distinguished chemist, researcher and academic administrator known for his significant contributions to chemical sciences and university governance. He completed his MSc, MPhil and PhD in chemistry from Andhra University and served the institution with distinction for several decades. As Vice-Chancellor of Andhra University, he strengthened academic standards, improved institutional rankings, secured major funding and promoted research infrastructure development and digital governance. This citation is presented to Professor Gollapalli Nagesh Rao by the Andhra University fraternity on the occasion of the Andhra University Shatabdi Mahotsav.
Professor Y. Satyanarayana. Professor Y. Satyanarayana is a distinguished legal scholar, academician and institution builder with over 3 decades of service in legal education. As first Vice-Chancellor of DSNLU Visakhapatnam, he laid a strong academic and administrative foundation for the institution. A dedicated researcher, mentor, he guided numerous scholars and published extensively in reputed journals. This citation is presented to Dr. Y. Satyanarayana by Andhra University fraternity on the occasion of Shatabdi Mahotsav.
Professor Sunkari Ramakrishna Rao. Professor Sunkari Ramakrishna Rao is a distinguished environmental scientist, academician and administrator, known for his significant contributions to environmental research, policy and higher education. He has served in key roles, including Joint Director in the Ministry of Environment and Forest, Government of India, and contributed extensively to environmental policy, research and disaster management. As Vice-Chancellor of Krishna University, he transformed the institution through infrastructure development. The citation is presented to Professor Dr. Sunkari Ramakrishna Rao by the Andhra University fraternity on the occasion of the Andhra University Shatabdi Mahotsav.
Professor G.V.R. Srinivas Rao. Professor G.V.R. Srinivas Rao is a distinguished civil engineer, academician and administrator with over 3 decades of service in teaching, research and institutional leadership. He completed his BE, ME and PhD engineering from Andhra University. He served as Vice-Chancellor JNTU Anantapur. He also served as Director RJUKT IIIT Missouri. This citation is presented to Professor G.V.R. Srinivasrao by Andhra University Fraternity on the occasion of Andhra University Shatabdi Mahotsav. May I request the second panel and other Vice Chancellors to come onto the dais for a group photo. I request all the Vice Chancellors to come onto the dais for a group photo. This would be an excellent group photo with galaxy of Vice Chancellors on the dais, a rare occasion during the Shatabdi Mahotsav.
The second panel discussion is State Public Universities, Key Challenges and Way Forward. I request all the students to please be seated. I request all the students to be seated. Right.
I request the students to be seated. There is one more panel discussion. Students, please come in and be seated. You can leave after the second panel discussion.
The second panel discussion is State Public Universities, Key Challenges and Way Forward. To guide this panel, we are privileged to have Professor Bal Mohan Das as a moderator, a very distinguished person familiar to most Visagites. He is well known for his literary and cultural and educational activities in Vizag, a former professor of commerce and management. Sir was the Vice-Chancellor of Acharya Nagarjuna Universities. Sir, I invite you to come on to the dais and serve as the moderator. And Madam Professor K.R. Rajani Madam onto the dais.
Our Honorable Vice-Chancellor of Andhra University, which is now organizing centenary celebrations, as our first panel chairman, Dr. Raju, has said, he is the lucky centenary Vice-Chancellor forever. And other Vice-Chancellors, former Vice-Chancellors, future Vice-Chancellors, faculty and student friends, I wanted to say good morning, but now it is good afternoon. I have been given 1 hour time. The first panel consisted of 1 plus 6, the second panel 1 plus 8. వాళ్ళ ఫస్ట్ ప్యానెల్లో ఉన్న వాళ్ళంతా కూడా సప్త ఋషులు, మేము నవగ్రహాలవి. మీరు గమనించారో లేదో, 1926 to 2026 మన వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ గారు, మ్యాథమెటిక్స్ ప్రొఫెసర్ గారు, మనం ఏదన్నా కొత్తగా కారు కొనుక్కుంటే 9 కావాలనుకుంటాం నంబరు. మీరు ఒక్కసారి చూడండి, 1, 9, 2, 6 కలిపితే 18, ఆ కలిపితే 9, 2, 0, 2, 6 అది కలిపితే 10, 9 నుంచి 10. A beautiful thing that has been conceived long ago by our Dr. C.R. Reddy, the founder Vice-Chancellor of Andhra University. Legacy, expansion, excellence. I am a professor of management. We know the words effectiveness, efficiency, and excellence. Things important are not just efficiency and effectiveness, but excellence. We're all here to see that Andhra University excels in every sphere of activity. We have 8 panelists. Very difficult for me. Professor Raju Garu had given them 8 minutes. But if I give them 8 minutes time, myself speaking for some time, in opening remarks and conclusion, it would be 2 o'clock. But I want to see that it is completed in less time. So friends, please excuse me for giving you only 5 minutes time. So 8 into 5, 40 minutes.
and for me 10 to 12 minutes total time, and we got the already group photo. I think we will also be felicitated afterwards. So we have to wait for this felicitation. Other friends, I don't know whether they leave, and if they like to stay, keep there for lunch too, we will be happy. Andhra University, మీరు పేర్లు విన్నారో చూడలేదో చూడండి ఒకసారి. నా వయసు 78. ఆంధ్ర యూనివర్సిటీతో నా కనెక్షన్ 64 సంవత్సరాలు. 1961లో నేను ఆంధ్ర యూనివర్సిటీ మెట్రికులేషన్ పాస్ అయ్యాను. I was a school dropout. Thanks to Andhra University, ఫస్ట్ ఫార్మ్ టు ఎస్ఎల్సి పూర్తి చేశాను నేను 11 నెలల్లో మాత్రమే. దెన్ 1 year PUC, దెన్ 3 years degree, 2 years masters, జాయినింగ్ ఆంధ్ర యూనివర్సిటీ. ఎందుకు ఆంధ్ర యూనివర్సిటీలో చేరాను? నాకు ఉద్యోగం రాక కాదు. I got appointed in Reserve Bank of India. I got appointed as the income tax officer, but then I joined here as associate lecturer at Andhra University. ఎందుకు కేసీఆర్ గారు చెప్పారు, మ్యాగ్నిఫిషియంట్ యూనివర్సిటీ. సిఆర్ రెడ్డి గారు ఆయన ఇనీషియల్ జీవితం అంతా కూడా విజయవాడ నుంచి విశాఖపట్నానికి తీసుకురావాలని శ్రమించారు. ఎందుకు? నేను దేశంలో విదేశాలలో 400 300 మాత్రం ఆంధ్ర యూనివర్సిటీయే. చాలా చెప్పాలి, కానీ నాకు టైం తక్కువ ఉంది కాబట్టి నేను వీలున్నంత తక్కువగానే చెప్తాను. 50 vice chancellors from AU faculty. Record in India, record in abroad also. 100 years, only 19 vice chancellors? Yes, only 19 vice chancellors. Because the first 3 founder vice chancellors, Dr. C.R. Reddy, Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, and Dr. V.S. Krishna, together they were the vice chancellors for 35 long years. 35. Then some of the later successive vice chancellors were vice chancellors for 2 terms. So we had only 19 vice chancellors in 100 years, and Rajasekhar is the present vice chancellor. And out of these 50 former vice chancellors, we have Telugu 2, Philosophy 3, Politics 2, Mathematics 2, Social Work 1, Education 2, Chemistry 2, Biochemistry 1, Zoology 2, Geology 1, Law 6, Physics 3, Economics 6, Commerce and Management Studies 4, English 2, and Engineering 11. So 50. Out of these 50 AU faculty who have become Vice Chancellors, 38 Vice Chancellors are living right now. 12 people are in heaven. And 19 Vice Chancellors, Humanities 13, Sciences 3, and Engineering 3. And out of them, the history of the visionaries of Andhra University and the AU faculty who have become Vice Chancellors elsewhere in the form of books. My colleagues, friends, Dr. Sudhakar and Dr. Ramakrishna Rao, I think, joined me. Three of us have published already the books, The Visionaries of Andhra University, 19 Vice-Chancellors in 100 years, number one book. And the other book, AU faculty as Vice-Chancellors of other universities, 50 in 100 years, both in Telugu and English too. I think at the end of this meeting, we will present 100 each books to our university through our dean, so that they reach the libraries of all the departments in the university. So that is how we have come to know a little more things as such about the university. I am a moderator. I said I keep myself time conscious. When people talk here from the rostrum, they don't look at the watch. The moderator or the chairman has not been given a bell to ring it. Ramasudha and Syamala are sitting there. So who will mind this time? I wish Ramasudha has a chair here, sit here and see the time is maintained. At the end of 5 minutes, each 5 minutes, I will stand up there so that the speaker sees me, the moderator is standing, indicating the time is up. And he may not see me by speaking, he sees only audience. So Ramasudha should come to the speaker and stand here if the speaker crosses the limit of 5 minutes. So that is the only idea with which not to disappoint the speaker, but to request him or her, because here two ladies are here. I think women are first. Somebody said women are first. I think I will give first women speakers only first, because definitely so that we will follow the others as such. I have lots of things to do, but then I will reserve them for later, my things as such. Universities who are century old in India. Which universities are century old in India? So they completed their centenary. The Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College founded at Aligarh in 1850. It started as Central College of Allahabad by completed its centenary. University of Mysore, Maharaja Nalavid Krishnaraja Vadiyar in 1960, it also completed its centenary. Then Patna University in 1917, Usmania University started in 1918, completed its centenary. Delhi University started in 1922, completed its centenary. Now it is Andhra University, its turn. Right now it is the 11th university which is celebrating its centenary in 100 years. I will stop here. I will request now Professor Rajani to initiate the discussion. As I requested, at the end of 5 minutes, I will stand up, and if she doesn't close, Ravasudha will come to remind her. Thank you. Rajani?
Yes.
Professor Rajani is Professor of Philosophy at Andhra University, and currently she is the Vice Chancellor Vice-Chancellor of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University, Srikakulam.
Good afternoon, all of you. Dear audience, are you energetic to listen or not? Honorable Vice-Chancellor of my alma mater, my mother, ethnic mother, Andhra University, Professor Rajshekhar Garu, and the moderator of the panel, Professor Bal Mohan Das Garu, and my co-panelists, all the elect professors and vice-chancellors, former, and of the dais, many vice-chancellors with whom I worked very positively and very happily, right away from Professor Venugopal Reddy Garu and all. Learned faculty of Andhra University, research scholars, student friends, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. When Andhra University is at 54 years of old, I entered into Andhra University as a student, very reluctant to take philosophy, but I am forced to study philosophy in 1980-82. And I worked very hard from the day one with Padma Vibhushan, Professor Sachidananda Murthy Garu, and next here Professor George Victor Garu and Professor Ramakrishna Rao Garu and so many other great teachers in my department. And now today, as time is very short now, the state public universities, key challenges and the way forward is the title of the panel session, and I would like to put forth only 4 crispy points before you. Even maybe they may hurt some people, but I want to bring the truthful points to the audience. The first one is this panel point is titled by me as Predominant Challenges of State Universities. Number 1, shortage of faculty and quality. This is the very predominant challenge to all the state universities in India and also in Andhra Pradesh. There are large-scale teacher vacancies. At least 50% of the teacher vacancies need to be filled immediately. Many universities are being run with contract and subject contract teachers. For your information, my university is working only with 7 regular faculty members. And the government needs to settle the issues of contract and subject contract faculty, as they have contributed in the time of need when the very existence of all universities are at question. And my second point is financial constraints. In comparison with central universities, institutions and private universities, the state universities are lagging behind in terms of funding to meet even the salary component of its employees. The shortage of funding leads to inadequate labs, libraries, hostels, which hinders research and learning nowhere to be seen in NIRF rankings. This is the fundamental cause for all the state universities now. And there should be an enhancement of funding to the educational sector by the government. And the third point is updated and outdated curriculum. Outdated curriculum is now going on in all universities. The outdated curriculum often fails to align with industry needs, leading to low employability and among graduates. The families and societies are loaded with unemployed youth, causing many social evils. And the fourth point is political interference. Political interference in every walk of university, like university recruitment, either regular or temporary, administrative decisions, and university governance often affects the autonomy and performance of all the universities. And fifth point is very much important. Moral instruction is lagging behind. The system is focusing on skill and only skill, the digital skill of the students, but forgetting to focus on cultivating character, integrity, social and personal responsibility. The human values, which includes honesty in academic work, respect for others, other social commitments, empathy, accountability, kindness, and courage to stand up at what is right, even if it is difficult, need to be taught from day one of schooling to university level and prepare the student beyond to his classroom for life. And proper curriculum should be designed, and this moral education should be given the credits also. In my opinion, the performance of university is predominantly based on 4 pillars, as I said. So one, quality and committed teachers, sufficient funds, updated curriculum with skill learning and character building. 2, non-political interference. I thank you very much, all of you, for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rajani. You have made right points, definitely. The deviation, Dr. Nirupa wanted the other person to speak first. Professor Raghul Garu, who was Vice-Chancellor of Nagarjuna University, it was not Acharya, it was Nagarjuna University at that time, 1998-2001. He was also in charge Vice-Chancellor of Andhra University for more than 6 months. He comes from the Department of Politics and Public Administration. Dr. Raghul Master.
Thank you, Professor Balmohan Daskar. Respected and Honorable Vice-Chancellor of Andhra University, Professor Rajsekhar, I must first express my gratitude to him for arranging this conclave and inviting all of us. It's like homecoming for me, especially because I don't live in Visakhapatnam. And I appreciate his gesture, and I also appreciate the time and effort given by the organizers for this. My Vice-Chancellor friends, ex-Vice-Chancellors and current Vice-Chancellors, faculty of Andhra University and other universities, students, scholars, ladies and gentlemen, and media. Here, Professor Das has rationed the time for all the speakers, and he has also entrusted the job of policing the clock to Professor Ram Sudha. So I must be very careful. So let me right away get down to the topic of my presentation. This is on reforms in higher education and AP. I the state universities. I'm sorry to say this, but let me come back to the main theme here. University autonomy is a strategic concept. I mean, this is a global concept. This is being practiced globally by governments, by institutions, by everybody who is interested in higher education. Now, the reforms which have been introduced in Andhra Pradesh in February 2026, very recently, they cut at the roots of university autonomy. Why is it so? I'm sure my Vice-Chancellor friends and the senior educationists are aware of this. Number one, they have curtailed the powers of the AP State Council of Higher Education, which has been acting as a buffer between the universities and the state government for nearly 36 years. And it has been doing a wonderful job in harmonizing the interests of the universities, the state government, and the University Grants Commission. And now this is being attacked by the new reform venture. And how did they do it and why did they do it? Well, let me reflect upon this. Now, APSCHE, the State Council, was conceived as an institution to catalyze the vision, perspectives and policies of higher education, and also act as a channel between the government, the universities and other institutions. The whole idea here is that the government or the bureaucracies should not sit over the autonomy of the universities. But now the new GO, which allocates administrative and academic functions, which are handled by the state council, they have been transferred to the newly created body called the Commissionerate of Higher Education. And it does a lot of harm. It has disastrous consequences for the university. Now, the story has started long ago. Way back in 1988, there was a GO issued by the government by which the control over private colleges was transferred from the universities to the government. And later on, government has issued a GO transferring these functions to the state council. Now by the new reform, it has taken over that function. It says the delegated function. Now the functions which were earlier delegated to the state council are now being taken over. Friends, my submission here is all these functions legitimately belong to the universities. Now, number one, admissions. Number two, counseling. Number three, entrance tests. Number four, regulation of our colleges. All these four functions belong to the universities. They have belonged to the universities here itself. And all
I will keep standing, sir.
Yeah. My submission here is, this is a cleverly conceived conspiracy against higher education, interests of higher education, against the autonomy of universities. It gives academic leadership. I mean, who will come forward to work with under a bureaucrat? We have to submit ourselves. Now, vice chancellors have been already standing outside the door to get an appointment with the principal secretary, either to request him for a date for executive council meetings or for other purposes. No, we have already been made subordinates, although protocol-wise, a vice-chancellor is of the status of principal secretary. You are not lower than the principal secretary of higher education. Now, it is very important that we have to raise our voice. Ex-vice-chancellors have nothing to lose. But let us stand up and then become a lobby for higher education. Maybe we can make a representation on this point, at least to the chancellor.
Thank you, Master. I think we will definitely make an appeal to the government.
We have nothing to lose except the chains of the current vice chancellors. Now let us work on this, and that's my submission. I have many more things to say, but I will stop here because you are all familiar with the academic terrain which is being invaded by the bureaucracy. Thank you.
థ్యాంక్ యూ మాస్టారు. మేము యంగ్ టీచర్స్గా ఉన్నప్పుడు వారి లెక్చర్స్ వింటుండేవాళ్ళం యూనివర్సిటీలో. వారి గవర్నమెంట్ కూడా సలహాదారుగా చాలా కాలం ఉన్నారు వారు. We understand your feelings of, bureaucrats overseeing university administration. It will definitely go to the, government. The moderation things will be going there. Now may I now request Dr. Niruparani. Generally people say Niruparani, but her name is Niruparani, Professor of English, founder Vice Chancellor of Adikavi Nana University in Rajahmundry. She was born in Rajahmundry, became Vice Chancellor in Rajahmundry.
Honorable Vice-Chancellor of Andhra University, Professor Rajshekar Garu, moderator of this panel discussion, Professor Balmohandas Garu, Vice-Chancellors who have worked for Andhra University, and university faculty who have worked for other universities, principals, deans, faculty, and dear students. It's a very emotional moment for me because education was given by my parents, but university made me what I am today. If I am standing before you, credit goes to my alma mater, not to me. Right from my childhood, I've been seeing university, visiting various departments during times of exhibition, appreciating and practically fallen in love with the ambience and the stalwarts on the campus. I did my master's from the university, then my PhD, and I have become a faculty member. From the time that I have joined the faculty, I was given administrative responsibilities by various vice-chancellors. As a lecturer, I have become chief warden of AU Ladies Hostel. On the suggestion and request of the then Vice-Chancellor, Professor Konir Ramakrishna Rao. He told me that it is only senior faculty that become chief wardens. I have made you aware of chief warden just to be with students and understand their problems and make the situation a happy one for everyone. Then during Diamond Jubilee time, around that time, I became first dean in the capacity of UGC coordinator, and the exposure I got, I just cannot share with you. I came to know about university system, the constraints, the opportunities, not one thing, everything at a time. Then, from there, I was nominated and sent as Vice-Chancellor to Abhikavinana University. When I was dean, I had the opportunity of interacting with almost all the departments on the campus: science, arts, humanities, and technical departments. Each department had its own glory, and national educational policy has come into implementation now, but the spirit with which they are trying to reform education in a higher educational institution has begun with Andhra University a long time ago. And there are, as some speakers have pointed out, university has pioneered in courses that were relevant to those times, and especially chemical engineering, nuclear physics, and then MBA program, and like specializations in various departments. And University Grants Commission, when they wanted to start women's studies, university got an opportunity to organize a center here. Like when you look back, it was a success story with Andhra University. You are inheritors of that success. You have inherited the legacy. You have a responsibility to take the university forward. National education policy has started many initiatives. They have started Smart India Hackathon, Anusandhan, National Research Foundation, Idea Labs, Spark, 4-year integrated courses, and many more initiatives. Opportunities are given to young minds to speak their mind, to express their desires. They were taken into consideration to formulate courses. And this is one thing. So there is no time to talk about constraints, and some of the constraints are already mentioned. I have the opportunity of attending to the centenary celebration of IISc Bangalore. And best of minds from India. They have people from industry, academia, administrators, policy makers, all have come and they have given a vision for the IISc Bangalore. Then I went to USA on federal government invitation under leadership program. There I had the opportunity of interacting with Sam Pedroda, and he has talked about the roadmap for higher education at length. And when I told him that some of the Vice-Chancellorship had always was in turmoil because that is one university which was started without giving any land. We have spent a lot of time, energies to procure land, but we never felt that we got defeated. I went ahead. We started new courses. We have started courses for the local needs, like the Godavari districts are blessed with oil reserves, and you have ONGC, and we started petroleum exploration course there. We have started 5-year integrated mathematics and computing courses there. And we had limited faculty, but the people of these districts, the eminent scholars, scientists working in various institutions, in IITs and IIMs, central universities, they have come forward to support us. They have sent their experts to teach courses. They have sent their experts to select faculty. If you have will, you can achieve anything. And under new education policy, universities are given certain responsibilities. They said that by 2030, they want to do away with affiliating system. The responsibility of gearing up these affiliated colleges to manage themselves independently was given to universities. Universities have to hold hands, and it is a challenge, big challenge, because when universities are suffering with shortage of permanent faculty and burdened with a lot of initiatives and reforms, how can you perform two duties? There is a way forward. There are so many senior academic administrators who can help the university by way of holding hands with affiliated colleges and guiding them to become independent. I think if I go beyond a point, probably Professor Bhagavandas. I am not saying. So I conclude with one statement, that is, we have a responsibility of conserving, transmitting, rectifying, and expanding the heritage of values we have received from this great institute, so that those who come after us may receive it more solid and secure, more widely accessible, and more generously shared than we have received. On behalf of all the academic administrators, I thank the university for giving us an opportunity to be with you once again and be part of these centenary celebrations. Thank you very much for the opportunity once again.
నేను పోయిన జన్మలో వీళ్ళందరికీ స్టూడెంట్ అయి ఉంటానండి. అప్పుడు శిక్ష వేస్తుంటారు, నేను తప్పించుకొని ఉంటాను, ఇప్పుడు శిక్ష వేస్తున్నారు. థ్యాంక్ యూ మేడం. నా సలహా మిగతా స్పీకర్స్కి 5 నిమిషాల నుంచి 3 నిమిషాలే తగ్గించుకోమని మనవి చేస్తున్నాను. ఒక సలహా కూడా, మీరు యూనివర్సిటీకి వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ గారు ఎన్నో థ్యాంక్స్ చెప్పాలి, మనమంతా యూనివర్సిటీకి చెప్పాలి. ఎవరిని అడ్రస్ చేయకండి, స్ట్రైట్ అవే కమ్ టు యువర్ పాయింట్స్. నా కుడివైపు ఎడమవైపు ఇద్దరు మా యూనివర్సిటీ వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ గారు ఉన్నారు. ఆయన మాట్లాడారు, నేను కొంతవరకు మాట్లాడాను. మిత్రుడు రాజేంద్ర ప్రసాద్ గారు పోస్ట్ అండ్ టెలిగ్రాఫ్స్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్లో వర్క్ చేస్తూ లా చేసి లెక్చరర్గా డిఫరెంట్ కాలేజెస్లో పనిచేసి ఆంధ్ర యూనివర్సిటీలో చేరి వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ అయ్యి నాగార్జున యూనివర్సిటీకి, అంతకుముందు ఢిల్లీలో కూడా కార్పొరేట్ ఆఫ్ మినిస్ట్రీలో లా ఆఫీసర్గా ఉన్నారు.
Respected former Vice-Chancellor Andhra University, invitees, faculty and student friends. So we are just only talking about what are the challenges the university faces or the universities face. When you talk about the university, university includes only the problems which we face within the campus, but also the problems related to the accredited colleges. But I am not just only focusing on the second part of it. Of course, just I faced many issues because there were nearly 450 accredited colleges during my tenure there. And now just focus on the problems which we face generally about the university etc. I classify into two. One is intra challenges and also inter challenges. And when we talk about these intra challenges, again just as I will very quickly I will make some sort of a glance of all these issues. I won't make any detailed explanation to these. So the first one is about academic and administrative challenges, and followed by the infrastructure facilities, and the third one is safeguarding the interests of stakeholders, and followed by that, and the issues of accountability. Every university faces the issues of accountability. To whom they are accountable? Are they accountable to all the stakeholders? First of all, they have to safeguard the interest of all the stakeholders. Followed by that, they wanted to just only, just take care of this, how they can be made liable for these stakeholders. So the accountability issues are very important as far as the universities are concerned. And followed by very important, now the universities are facing so much litigation. This is a very important point because I want to focus on this. Many cases generally filed against the university because you must be knowing it is the universities are amenable to the jurisdiction of the Constitution, Article 12. The university is a state, so that's why whatever the decisions that the university takes, then they also be questionable. So that's why this is a major challenge, and major challenge of the universities how to just only face these litigations, but we can't avoid it. So other side wanted to enforce the rights, and the university has to defend it. And when you talk about the inter challenges, and the first one is we are all the people aware about the competition, and just only making the initiatives for this impressive ranking, and the very important these universities as an inter challenge is about the social responsibility. And very most important challenge which we generally talk about is about the global challenges or global competitions. But the issue is about way forward. So the first one is how to tackle all these things. This is a very important issue as far as the administrators or some sort of the policy makers of the university and its administration. One is about what I just only think about is strategic planning. That's very important. Of course, all the university plan in a strategic way. And as far as this university nowadays, we have more strategic planning about how to handle the issues or the challenges of all these universities. And another concept in law, what we said about the concept of social engineering is very important. The social engineering in law, talking about balancing the conflicting of interest. So the university has to weigh the interests among all the stakeholders, and they have to take the decision accordingly. Then we won't get any issues from any other party or parties. And very important for the administrators and the reason judgment. Whatever the decision we take it, we specify the reasons why you are taking the decision. As far as personal experience is concerned, whatever the decision taken by me, I used to record all the reasons. If I say yes, what are the reasons? I'm just only saying positively. Just when write no, why I'm just only not giving that. So that the next one is about the resolution, this refined resolution mechanism is very important. There must be very stringent, just regulated resolution mechanisms, and when I have read some sort of the national documents also, and just only not given that much, focus on this resolution mechanism. This is a very, very important aspect because conflicts we can't avoid it. Because we law people just only invite the conflicts. And also we ourselves, given the resolution for that. And last one, what I say, to have some sort of, to promote the university interest, the test policy, as per my knowledge goes, utilitarian principle, that is greatest happiness to greatest number. So we can't satisfy all the people. Just greatest happiness to greatest number is some sort of the ranking principle for us. Thank you for giving this opportunity to share some of the views. I'm also thankful to the university for just felicitating this on this occasion. Thank you, Ram. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajendra Prasad Garu. Now it's my turn to request Professor M. Jagannath Rao Garu from Geology faculty. As research scholar, he appeared for UPSC Geology examinations, got 11th rank, but refused it and joined Andhra University as a faculty. He was Vice-Chancellor of Andhra University, Rajahmundry.
Thank you. Honorable Vice-Chancellor, Professor Rajshekhar, and our moderator, Professor Balmohan Das, and all other former and present Vice-Chancellors, professors, students, and other faculty members. I straight away go into the subject, State Public Universities, Key Challenges and the Way Forward. Let us start with a Japanese proverb. If you wish to destroy a nation, you need not put an atom bomb on it. You simply ignore the education, the country will be automatically destroyed. This is the timeless insight. Reminds us that the true essence of the education lies not merely in awarding degrees, but in quality, purpose, and transformation. As Mahatma Gandhi said, education which does not mold the character is absolutely worthless. And B.R. Ambedkar said, access to education is not enough. It should be meaningful and transformative. The core idea is not only the access, we need quality, we need education with transformation, for which we need the best possible education to be given at state universities, which needs the best teachers, the quality teachers. So that is what is very important, because the universities for the talent pool, they need to give the talent youngsters, the talented graduates to the nation. Especially in the light of the government is talking about the Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India, Skill India, and all those things need that reminds us the universities has a major role to play in providing that kind of talent pool to the nation. So if you want to do that, the state universities should have the quality teachers. Now we have almost more than 60% of the permanent faculty have retired, and we are unable to fill them because it is not in the hand of the Vice-Chancellor or the Executive Council, as we all know. This is in the hand of the governments. As the saying says, one day with a great teacher, it is 1,000 days of study. That is the key insight for the quality education. Universities are in need of teachers with passion. Teaching at university should be research-based and research-centered. The teachers should be active researchers and attract research funding to develop the research ecosystem. Teachers are not just to finish syllabus and conduct examination and award degrees. They should be igniting curiosity, and they should develop critical thinking and create problem solvers to the nation. The classroom should be a laboratory of ideas. The university must produce inventors, scientists, entrepreneurs, innovators for national building, for which we need quality teachers. I strongly feel all the problems which we are talking about in the universities are centered around, because one problem, that is poor teaching, lack of quality teachers. Because of the poor teaching, we produce poor student outcomes, low employability, lack of skills, lack of innovation, declining reputation, poor academic standards, naturally poor ranks. So in such case, all challenges are manifestation of lack of quality teaching. So the way forward is faculty recruitment, large scale and transparent merit based and time bound recruitment should be there. And also we need to attract talent, better pay incentives and research support to the academic freedom. And also attract talented teachers to the university's ecosystem. And also we need faculty development and we need to restore dignity among teachers as nation builders. Ensure respect, motivation and growth. So these challenges need to be addressed. There are many other challenges, but this is the crux of these challenges. When you are a quality teaching at state universities, definitely the teacher, if he is a good researcher, he will attract funding. He will develop the research infrastructure. He will be doing consultancy. He will be encouraging patents. So in this way, many other problems, including industry interaction, we can attract incubation centers. So the teaching ecosystem need to be developed to the highest level at the global quality. Thank you very much. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Jagannath Garu. Now I request Professor A.V. Prasad Rao, former Vice Chancellor, Rayalaseema University, 2018-21. He worked in NSTL for some time in his Vizag Joint Chemistry Department and became a professor. He got his PhD from Pennsylvania University, USA. Prasad Rao Garu.
Thank you for the nice introduction. Due to paucity of time, let me dispense with the formal salutations and dive directly to the topic at hand, that's the deliberation. Actually, this topic reminds me of one quotation from a book entitled Fixing Science in India, Socio and Economic Perspectives, written by Professor Desiraju from IISc Bangalore, wherein he states, Indian science and technology is formed as an amalgamation of American goals, Soviet methods, Chinese opacity, Indian petty politics, and African budget. I think that pretty much settles everything. Now coming to the key challenges, let me point out briefly some of these. Because of less time, I am skipping some things. Yeah, I will give one by one. Acute faculty shortage. Number 2, inadequate infrastructural facilities to face global competition. 3, outdated curriculum and crowded classrooms. 4, huge skill gap and low employability. 5th, rigid framework with limited options for horizontal growth. 6th, depth of industry-academia interaction. 7, limited accountability of academic and administrative personnel. 9, diminishing financial support in terms of annual budgetary allocation. 9, lack of incentives for research. 10, undue political interference. 11, academic stagnation. 12, plagiarism. 13, corruption. 14, indiscriminate and unrationalized growth of academic institutions. What I mean by this is, in 1980, we were having hardly 132 universities and about 4,000 and not, say 17,000 colleges. But by the end of 2025, we have 1,325 universities and 50,000 colleges. So the number of universities increased 10 times and the number of colleges increased 3 times. So this is an indiscriminate growth. And 15 unmotivated students and 16 merit substituted with nepotism. So these are the root causes for the state public universities performance. Now, how to overcome this? One, immediate enhancement of faculty, as it is already said by many panel speakers before me. And two, establish advanced centers. Three, revise curriculum in a realistic way. What I am saying by this is, realistic way means, once we formulate a curriculum, that is, we are doing it in a reverse way now. What we have to do is, we have to fix the goal, that is, the vision has to be fixed and the mission has to be formulated. But what we are doing it now is, we are taking the syllabus and from the syllabus we are writing the program outcomes and course outcomes. That's incorrect. So, I think already the reminder is there. So, I leave with two suggestions for the present Vice-Chancellor. One, number of industries are coming in and around Visakhapatnam. So, to be a leader, establish a center for environmental studies. That will be very, very important in the future. Center for Environmental Studies is one. It's not Department of Environmental Studies, it's Center for Environmental Studies. And two, PHU, Benares Hindu University, on its 100th year, got the distinction of Institute of Eminence. So I wish the university will pursue this further and the university will be given the status of Institute of Eminence, because by this the university will get 1,000 crores one-time grant, and only a few universities got this: Delhi University, Benares Hindu University, the Sevanada, Jinnah Global University, and BITS Pilani. So I think Andhra University richly deserves it, and the administration will take note of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ragaru. Now I request Professor R. Sudarshan Rao from the Faculty of Economics, and he was Vice Chancellor of Vikram Sinhapur University, Nellore, and he was also a member of the 4th Finance Commission, Government of Andhra Pradesh, and he was chairperson for Manavata Swachhata Samstha.
Good afternoon, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Rajshekar Garu, Professor Balmohandas Garu, moderator of our panel, all former Vice Chancellors, the panelists sitting on the dais, sitting off the dais, and the present Vice Chancellor also, Professor Rajani, Rector needs to be at least doubled. There is a need for doubling. That is the way forward. Because even though we talk so many things about innovation, incubation, etc., but without funding, what is that a vice chancellor can do, or anybody can do? The third important challenge is autonomy. It was very intensively, thoroughly referred by Professor Raghavan. Autonomy is in three ways. Autonomy, university autonomy is affected in three ways. One is by legislative changes, which we talked about. The second one is financial controls by the Department of Higher Education. The third one is political interference. Earlier, in the past, we used to have that even a cabinet minister used to hesitate to enter into the vice chancellor's chamber or even to talk to a vice chancellor. But even a corporate is easily going to a vice chancellor or approaching a vice chancellor for certain powers and other. So these are some of the important major key challenges according to me, and I profusely thank the vice chancellor and the team of organizers for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sudarshan Rao garu. I'm very sorry for giving you the less time. Now it is the turn of the last participant. I put him last intentionally because he will not misunderstand me, because he has been my co-author along with Ramakrishna on the books as such. Now, Sudhakar, founder Vice Chancellor of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University, Srikakulam, coming from Department of Social Work. How difficult it would be for a founder Vice Chancellor, I know.
మాట్లాడే ముందు ఇక్కడ ఎవరి పని వాళ్ళు చేస్తూ ఉంటారు. మన్మోహన్ దాస్ గారు, రామచంద్ర గారు అక్కడ నిలబడుతూ ఉంటారు. వచ్చిన వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్స్ వాళ్ళకి కావాల్సినంత టైం తీసుకొని మాట్లాడుతూ ఉంటారు. నేను కూడా అదే ఫాలో అవుతాను. కాబట్టి మా మాస్టర్ మన్మోహన్ దాస్ గారు కానీ రామచంద్ర గారు కానీ నన్ను క్షమించారు ఈ విషయంలో. మోస్ట్ డిస్టింగ్విష్డ్ present and former vice chancellors, ladies and gentlemen, guests, invitees, beloved faculty, dear student friends, press and media. At the outset, I am delighted to be here in the midst of renowned teachers and proficient academic administrators. I feel it as a privilege, honor, and pleasure. I thank and congratulate profusely the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor G.P. Rajshekhar garu and his team for organizing this meeting in connection with the centenary celebrations of Andhra University. As a student, as a scholar, teacher and in charge Vice Chancellor to my alma mater, that is Andhra University, I always prioritize in my thoughts and actions to keep this university as one of the best universities. Coming to the panel discussion here on state public universities, key challenges and way forward, I feel there are several challenges to be addressed, but due to the paucity of the time, I would like to dwell only one or two, taking the examples of Andhra University. However, it can be attributed to other state universities in the state of Andhra Pradesh. In the first generation of our university, we had legends like Dr. C.R. Reddy, Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, Dr. V.S. Krishna, Professor Mahadevan, Professor Humayun Kubir, Professor T.R. Sheshadri, Professor Rangaramrao, Professor K.K. Das, Professor Suri Bhagavantam, Professor A. Jashikir Rao, Professor Chawla, and many others. In the second generation, we had stalwarts like Professor B.R. Rao, Professor Rokkam Ramanathan, Professor Gnanananda, Professor
specifically to make every one of us, more particularly the younger ones, to know the giants of Andhra University and get the inspiration from them. If you look at these people, one distinctive common feature I have observed, it was their international exposure and experience. To name any prestigious university in the world, these legends, stalwarts, eminent people have greatly associated where they have studied, researched and employed, and very significantly they have contributed their knowledge and experiences. The institutions include Oxford, Cambridge, Princeton, Stanford, Yale, University of Vienna, University of Canberra, London School of Economics, University of Manitoba, China People's University, and many more. Most interesting feature is that these people have returned to Andhra University and served it and played a key role in promoting the university and its respective departments to reach to superior heights. It is because of them Andhra University got its high reputation and became a role model university. In fact, it is made possible with these people to get these opportunities because in those days the fellowships, scholarships like Fulbright, Commonwealth, exchange program, bilateral program, Government of India scholarship, those things are available. So that is the way they have made use of all these scholarships and got the best exposure at the international level. But looking at the present situation today, particularly the state public universities are lagging behind for such an international exposure and experience. Thus, reaching to world ranking, these state universities are far beyond. It is essential to make our teachers, scholars, and students to access to international exposure for quality education, exposure to advanced innovation and research, and use modern science and technology. Then only any state university will get its best place in the place. So therefore, I am extremely happy that I am given the opportunity. But still, there are many issues to be addressed. Especially, I told these eminent people have used those facilities. But how come the universities will give such type of facilities? Only one thing I would like to say here. When Professor Felicitation was the Vice-Chancellor, before that I went to Commonwealth Fellowship. Going to Commonwealth Fellowship, really I got more insights what is that our university teachers are missing. The teachers are missing the international exposure. So therefore, it is the prime responsibility. All the time we ask the government should provide these scholarships. No. Even universities can provide such facilities. And in the initial days when Professor Vice-Chancellor was there, for first time 10 university teachers were given this facility, 1 lakh each. And I am extremely happy that Professor Nima Venkat Rao was the beneficiary and he was given that award also. So in a 10 years time, if you give 10, each year 10 people, or if you give 20 people each year, almost 200 people will go to the international exposure. Then the university automatically gets the benefit. So this is my view, and there are other issues, but because of time paucity, I am unable to speak any other thing. Thank you very much for giving the opportunity.
Thank you, Sudhakar Garu. Now, as per the procedure given to us, audience participation. I think given the time constraint and also not many are present, I would like to request only one participant to raise a question.
some of the panel speakers have mentioned about the interference of the politics. But my question is, how to control the vice-chancellors who are acting with political vendetta? Thank you.
Can anyone respond from my group? His question is, how to control the vice chancellors acting with political.
Could you please repeat the question?
Some of the panel speakers have mentioned about the interference of the politics or political interference into day-to-day activities of the university administration. But my question is, how to control the vice-chancellors who are acting with political vendetta?
Okay.
Political agenda.
Yeah. That's a good question. Not only vice chancellors, even faculty and students also have political agenda of their own. And part of the problem in many universities is that they suffer from local politicians and local politics. You know, you have to deal with many kinds of internal lobbies which are of a political nature. Politics means what? Who gets what and why. Okay, maybe a teacher is interested in getting something, maybe a research grant, research project, maybe at least a room in the department, etc., etc. Similarly, students are interested in getting, certain amenities or facilities. In all this, this is part of the common scenario in any institution in India. It is a reflection of democratization at every point, at every level. Thank you.
Thank you, Masteru, for giving some explanation. I have lots of things to tell about that, but given the time constraint, I am not going to talk about that. Vice chancellors, vice chancellors, vice chancellors. W-I-S-E, vice. V-I-S-E, vice. You know the meaning of vices. Some of us are vice chancellors, some of us are vice chancellors. How to avoid this? How to avoid this? Please go.
Chancellors of vice.
Okay. I think I have recommended long ago to the government of India to have Education Service Commission or appointment of the vice chancellors by Union Public Service Commission list, and I don't know what has happened, it doesn't matter, but all of us have to be vice chancellors. You can't say that you can't talk to the education minister and the chief minister. Vice chancellor has to stop. Principal secretary status for him, and the university should run. And the universities will run only when you have good relations with the government, not with the political parties. Government. Definitely government has to be there. We have total universities 1338 in India, and state public universities we have 513, and in Andhra Pradesh, central autonomous institutions 19, central universities 3, state universities 28, deemed universities 7, private universities 14. I have the list also, but time doesn't permit. And now, among the state public universities, Andhra University has got fourth rank as NIRF ranks 2025. And Jadavpur University, Anna University, Punjab University are ahead of us. Andhra University, Visakhapatnam 68.91, the rank that we have, the weightage that we have, followed by Kerala University. Out of the 5, we have number 4. We should be happy. NAC 3.5 3.74 A++ we got, and I want to tell you 22 Vice Chancellors met the committee, the peer team, when they came here for this, and we said we requested, he was so happy to see 22 Vice Chancellors from Andhra University. So we requested, I think we have a role in that rank also. I just wanted to say, a lot of things are there, but given the time constraint, I think the present Vice Chancellor is an excellent administrator with a lot of wisdom. He is going to take definitely forward the university, Andhra University, I think forward definitely. So we are all with you as such. And then, but my small request is there. From salaried person, I am a pensioner now. All of us are pensioners. 2016, we were supposed to be paid UGC arrears. 2016, please see that they are paid now. And we are very happy that to participate here on behalf of all of them. I thank you and your colleagues for the nice gesture of organizing this function as such. And my request is, we still want some more activities. We want it to be continued in 2026-27 also. This is only our request. I am sure you will take it forward with doing a lot of activities. As you are aware, I think I request my Ramakrishna Rao garu to colleague join. I think we will present these books, 4 books to you, which we brought out, the visionaries of Andhra University and AU faculty as Vice-Chancellor of Universities to our Honorable Vice-Chancellor, and 400 copies of these books are in the, I think, dicky of car of Ramakrishna. We will hand over to you. Kindly see that they are distributed to the libraries so that the history of Andhra University is there in the library for reading by students and faculty. So we think we have finished, and it is our, I think, the organizers to take up.
So once again, good afternoon everyone. So let me take this opportunity to thank all the panel members and also others who witnessed today, other Vice Chancellors I meant, former Vice Chancellors who took the trouble of traveling and participating patiently. So as the team legacy from
also request Rector sir. Rector sir, please come on to the dais, and our principals of Constant Colleges of Andhra University, please come on to the dais. Now for the felicitation ceremony, we request Professor Nima Venkatrao Garu, Professor Venkat Subbai Garu, and Professor Jnanamani Garu also on the dais.
Professor C. Rahul Garu. Sir, please be seated. Sir, please join us. Sir, please join us for the felicitation, sir, please. I request everyone to please join for the felicitations. Professor Balmohan Das Garu. Professor Balmohan Das Garu served at Acharya Nagarjuna University. Professor Nirupurani Garu. Professor Nirupurani Garu happens to be the founder Vice-Chancellor of Andhra University at Rajamahendravaram. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause, please. Professor Sudhakar Garu. Professor Sudhakar Garu happens to be you can see on the screen, sir happens to be the founder Vice Chancellor of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University at Chicago. Professor A. Rajendra Prasad Garu, sir served at Acharya Nagarjuna University as the Vice Chancellor. Professor A. Rajendra Prasad Garu. Next we have Professor A.V. Prasad Rao Garu. Sir also had served as Vice Chancellor of Adhikavi Nannai University at Rajamahendravaram. And sorry. At Rayalaseema University, Kurnool. Then we have Professor R. Sudarshan Rao Garu. Sir served as Vice Chancellor at Vikram Singhapuri University, Nellore, from the Fraternity of Economics.
Professor M. Jagannath Rao garu, who served at Adikavi Nannaya University during the period 2020 to 2023. Next we have Professor Viray garu. Sir is not here with us today. Professor Gnanamani garu. Next in order we have Professor Gnanamani garu, who served at Krishna University, Machilipatnam. Next we have Professor Nima Venkataravu garu, who served as the Vice-Chancellor at Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University, Chennai, Capital. Sir is from the Fraternity of Education. Next we have Professor Venkat Subbai garu, Senior Professor from Mechanical Engineering Department. Sir served at JNTU Gurjada at Vizianagaram. Next we have Rajni ma'am. Ma'am is sitting Vice Chancellor at Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University at Chennai, Capital. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause. With this we come to a conclusion of today's felicitation ceremony to all the former Vice Chancellors of Andhra University and from Andhra University. I request all of you to please stand up for the national anthem. I request all of you to please join us for lunch. All our Vice Chancellors to please join us for lunch here in the premises itself.